Right, well, we've taken those two shafts out, so the next one is this one, which is this one here, which is in three parts. Stay there. That one, that part, and the central part. So we've got to take, I don't know which way out they come, but I'm going to take these end pieces off first. Blast, that's turning in there. You annoying little bastard. Try this one. Oh, well, that's easy enough. What about this one? Doesn't look good. In there, you little rat. No. How annoying. Should I drill that out, or shall I try and cut a slot across it? Well, I tried to cut a slot in it with a carbide burr, but I don't have the right shape tool for really doing that, and that didn't work. So I'm going to try this. It's my belief that this should come off. Beginning to come. It should slip off here. Drill a little bit more out of that. This is supposed to be a slip tip, not a totally rusted tip. I think the remains of that screw are still obstructing me. This is a 4.5mm expendable end mill. Aha! Thank you. Jolly decent of you to come off. Well, that's something that I didn't expect to find in there. I expected to find 2 ball bearings. Well, there's one. Where's the other one? I don't see the other one. And I don't see it in there either. But we've got this thing, which is a steel bush of some ilk. Presumably it went in there. Ah, yeah. Well, I'm glad to see what that looks like, because there's another one in the other one which I've already taken off, which I couldn't see or get at. But either I've just lost that ball bearing or it wasn't there, because I've got one. Now perhaps we can do it the easy way. Right, there's a circlip here which may possibly come off in this manner. Okay, yes. Well, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to handle this. Right, that should be a start. So presumably there's a pin on this gear somewhere. I can't see one at the moment. I do not actually see a pin on this gear at all. Oh, I see, this gear is free slipping, so we just do that. Right. Well, that looks all right by itself. That's a gear of dubious quality. There's a washer. There's a circlip. So we will put these back on here in the order in which they came off. Thank you. So that was all like that, and I think this gear needs to be replaced. The problem with these things, although they're strong enough, what's left is strong enough, the face of the tooth, which actually rubs on whatever gear it's engaging with, is so heavily pitted that I don't recommend it. Right, now we have to get this one off. This gear is free slipping on there. There's another circlip here, so I think I'll take that off. Possibly we can withdraw the whole shaft without doing anything else. Why are circlips so bloody difficult to handle? Must be one of the most tiresome things ever invented by engineers. Yes, ever invented by engineers. They're quite effective at the job that they do, but why are they bloody awkward to get in there, you little rat? Thank you. So will this come? Yes, this is going to come right out, isn't it? Gotcha. Let's get a magnet on a stick. That would be terribly useful. So we'll put that back. Down there. And that's that. The rest of the shaft looks okay. And luckily I didn't have to undo that, did I? And I don't know why it's so like that, but anyway. The bearing was okay, so... Right, we'll take this off anyway. Because everything's coming off, so that we know everything there is to know about this gearbox, or everything that can be deduced by not very clever people. Well, I fully expected that to fly off. You mean to say this is all part of something that's been pressed in there? Well, it's not pressed in there, otherwise why have 3 bolts on the outside? So I think it's just going to come out with gentle tapping, like that. Seems to be some kind of liner in here which may have been pressed into this. Anyway, that's all. That is to say, there. And there is only one grub screw on this thing here, and no roll pins. So this all seems to be one gear maybe, and that's another one, and we just knocked the shaft out. I can't actually see the shaft on the parts diagram. Well, neither of these shoes or forks, whatever it is that engage the gears, seem to be actually fouling this line, but they're slightly, anyway, in any case they come out quite easily, so I'll have them out and we'll remember where they went. Do you think if I, well, alright, how about removing this? Yeah. Right, so all 3 grub screws are well withdrawn now, and these 2 were not at all tightly done up. So, the question is, can I just gently bash this? And will it come? And the answer is no. What about this side? Oh, well, that's better. No problem at all. And, alright, so all these gears are coming one by one. So we know it goes out that way. Ah! Don't do that. Do not do that. Well, we don't know which way round it went. But we can guess, because that's all marked with teeth and this isn't, so I guess it went that way. It goes like this. Don't you do that! They're all separate gears. and this looks beautiful. Nothing wrong with it except the end is slightly rusty there, and that doesn't matter. So there's that shaft from one end to the other. I wish I had lots of big plastic boxes with compartments in them. We have to make do with what we've got. Just be sure not to fall over whilst you're carrying that. 95% of the time in this country we spend moaning about it being dull and wet. And the other 5% of the time we moan about it being too hot. At the moment, it's too bloody hot. But we have to bash on. Right, so we've got all the shafts out except this one, which is an intermediate shaft in the sense it's not driven from the outside by anything. And it's actually the one that is most unsatisfactory in terms of smooth running. So that's this one here. You seem to have got 2 grub screws and 2 roll pins, plus these 2 to deal with. And that's loose, so that won't have anything on it. Don't see anything on that. You've got a roll pin there and a roll pin there. Yes, I suppose these are the 2 grub screws. Okay. Right. Well, we'll take these grub screws out. One. What's this? Thank you. Right. So, presumably, this will just come off like that, do you think? It is not catching on that shoe, that fork, or whatever you like to call it. It's actually catching on here, suggesting ease them all up a bit. Yeah. And this one is still well, I think what we have to do now is remove at least one of these plugs so that we can get a straight access to this shaft. They're both threaded M6. And I didn't have a slide hammer. So I made one. Yes, last night on the Chinese mini lathe. Out of some scrap metal and a piece of studding. So I'm just hoping that this will be sufficient to do the job. Would you believe it? It actually worked. Well, shall we try a gentle Shall we try a gentle tapping in the... Well, I think I'll just use the mini lathe to make good this copper bar. Right, I've touched up that. So, will this go this way? Up to a point, see if we can get that off. Now I need another plastic tray. Right, well, this is supposed to be loose on this spline, but although I can bash it left and right, it doesn't exactly slide easily. Does not slide easily. I'm thinking that I need to get this out, I need to repeat this kind of process, but from this side. So I'll see if I can get this one out with the slide hammer. Right. And the answer to that is no. Well, let's see if it will go in a bit. I don't want to apply enormous force to this, which is a cast iron thing. Not enormous impulsive force. I could heat it up. I think that would be better. Problem is I can only get to a small fraction of that. Presumably it's exactly like this one. Let's say rusty on the inside, okay, where it's inside the case. Okay, so we won in the end, and nothing has cracked so far. So now, my thinking is that if I were to bash this gently this way, not stopping that. Right, one of the reasons why this is so stiff is because it's still engaged with this fork. So I've got to get that fork out, I think, because it can't go any much further than that anyway, so no. That's all right. Those are both sliding on there, so why does this not just that pin out, didn't I? That's not in the way. See, if I do it this way, perhaps it just comes right the way out this way. Ah, that may be it. Okay, so it comes out this way, we think. Comes out all right. This is going to come out all right. And that comes out all right. Well, you've only been down there 5 seconds, so I think you might at least deign not to stick down there. Thank you. That's going to be quite okay when cleaned up. Yeah, and it doesn't come out that way because of that lip, which stops it there. And that bush is perfectly okay. So that's fine. Everything is fine. And we took out one roll pin, didn't we? No, we took out 2 roll pins. One. Where are my longer nosed pliers and or a magnet? Come here, you little rat. You can do this. Thank you. Right, now apart from knobs, we've got the whole thing out. And the paint on the inside is not coming off or anything, so that's nice. Right, well, I've marked those 3 shoes, 1, 2, 3, left to right, in this orientation. Well, I just wanted to withdraw the final gear, and it's got a roll pin in it, and there's no way I can hit that with a hammer inside the space, so I presume that this just comes out that way once I have removed this knob. It's freely rotating. I have removed one grub screw from here, and the other one wasn't there anyway, but it still doesn't want to come off. See, it's so easy to just slip off it. You're just ruining it. I think heat is the only option. do that. Well, this is a bit of a Heath Robinson arrangement, but I've just put some dowel pins in where the grub screws normally go, and these are the only two steel wedges that I've actually got, and I'm wondering whether this is going to achieve anything. I'm not convinced that it's doing anything. I think it is coming. I feel sure that this is not the recommended technique for doing this. This wedge isn't quite tall enough, this is the problem. I need something thicker spacers than this. Well, this is getting more and more Heath Robinson. I've just put some spacers underneath here. I don't suppose this is doing the threads that the grub screws go on much good. Well, it's getting even more Heath Robinson and brute force and bloody ignorance. You are coming out of here whether you like it or not, little rat. I seem to have lost the... Ah, brilliant. Well, I can't actually see why that was so goddamn difficult. Right, so one aluminium thing which doesn't look corroded, nor does it look notably scored, and one steel shaft Well, I really don't know why that was so difficult to come off. I'm thinking possibly if I gripped it with mole grips and twisted it slightly and kept it absolutely straight, it might have come off more easily. So now it's my belief that this gear and shaft can simply be withdrawn this way, except that maybe we need to stone that a bit. I think that's stopping it probably. Well, I think we're going to have to come now, because you know we can't wait all bloody night, can we? I'm only tapping it gently. Right. So there we are. Well, I washed this out with petrol, and then I washed it out with gunk, and then I pressure washed it, and I was going to then spray it with WD-40, but I decided against that because I want to paint it, and instead I left it out all day in the baking hot sun after blowing out all the holes, and then I just removed a little bit of flash rust that had occurred after that. Well, if it's not time for tea, I'm going to put the clock on because I definitely feel like a long drink. That's all I'm going to do today. We've got all the gears out of that gearbox and all the shafts. Thanks very much for watching, and next time assessing the gears, cleaning them up, and God knows what.